Florida talked a lot about nothing, and Georgia talked a lot about something. Georgia's gone, put people in the league. Florida hasn't put a defensive lineman in the league since Tavian Bryant, and he's terrible. Those are the words from Jordan Hall on. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know the name of the podcast that both Zion Logue and I cannot believe I'm forgetting. I cannot believe I'm forgetting uh, his name. Starting offensive guard, Georgia's offensive guard. Man, it's like I've never seen Tate Ratledge before. Well, anyway, that he was on the podcast with them. I can't remember what it's called. It's actually not a bad listen. Got to get the mics figured out, but other than that, it's a cool show. And that's what he said. Florida talked a lot about nothing, and Georgia talked a lot about something. Georgia's gone and put people in the league. Florida has not put a player in the league, a defensive lineman in the league since Tavion Bryant, and he's terrible. So let me give you some background here because some of that's not accurate. Jordan Hall is like a top 15 player consensus-wise, 5-star kid from Jacksonville. Really good player. So he's probably mad about Tavion Bryant, who plays for the Jags or ever did play for the Jags. Florida has put some defensive linemen in the league lately. They've maybe not made a big impact. Gravon Dexter's with the Bears. Zachary Carter's with the Bengals or was drafted by them. And some other, there's been multiple other players that have been drafted. Jabari Zuinga, who you may remember kept stopping Georgia on those on the 4th and shorts or 3rd and shorts near the end zone. He's also been drafted. So they have put people in the league. But I think that, when I say stuff about Florida, you could say this about any, guys, this is one anecdotal thing. But here's my global point. When these Florida folks get their, feelings hurt about what I'm talking about, man, I call it like I see it. If you don't like that, that's fine. I'm not mad about it. That's okay. You have your perspective, but you've got back-to-back losing seasons, y'all. Billy Napier's really good run in recruiting in June, that's great. He can't go, 6-7 again. His ass going to get fired, period. And they're not going to have a recruiting class to speak of. So it doesn't, the problem is what this young man is saying. Florida's talked a lot about nothing. Georgia talked a lot about something. You've got a messaging problem down there. And, I would not want to go head-to-head against Georgia in recruiting right now. It's akin to going head-to-head against Auburn in their wheelhouse times or Alabama in their wheelhouse times. They're going to get it done, period. And that's just all there is to it. If you like this shirt, Talk Kirby to Me. It's not something you can get anywhere else. The link is right down below. It's from our friends at Red Zone. They're the ones who help us with these publications. Our offers are going to run out at some point. Double Dogs is available today. You get the book and the magazine included. But our friends at Red Zone have got this link down below. If you like to Talk Kirby to Me, I saw someone wearing it downtown in Athens the other day, just kind of walking around. It's a funny shirt. And we Talk Kirby to Me here a lot on Dog Post. I think, there's problems. There's a lot of problems here for the Gators, generally speaking. But, that you're losing a kid from Jacksonville, that's a little bit like losing somebody from Atlanta. That goes somewhere else. That's going to happen. It's not the end of the world. It's not, you'll be all right. The Gators will be all right. But it is pretty devastating to hear the post game. This is a problem for Florida. And I don't know that it's easily solved with Billy Napier. Maybe it is. I don't have a problem with. I don't know Billy Napier. I know he did a good job at Louisiana. I know a lot of people around the league have just simply said, Louisiana is not Florida. It's just not. Some people say, well, there's a reason why LSU purposely skipped him. It looks like LSU was right so far because they could go get Brian Kelly. I mean, that's obviously been an upgrade at LSU from Ed Orgeron. Has it been better than what Billy's done at Florida? So far, it has. Will that be the case in the future? It looks like it to me. Now, I'm not on here to do hot takes and all that stuff. We believe in nuance, and I think that's the other thing too. When you look at Georgia and their situation right now, closing out recruiting season, although we still expect some commits to happen over at Dog Post in July. It's hard. It's hard to turn around and look at the where Georgia's at right now and think that they'll finish anywhere other than 1 or 2 in this recruiting class. It's not hard to look at Florida and be like, well, they might have a top 10 class, but 3. No, probably not. They're probably not going to finish number 3. So that's the sort of thing that you need, though, in order to really change things at Florida. I mean, SC's probably going to pass them. Oregon's probably going to pass them. LSU's probably going to pass them. I would imagine Clemson will. I don't know. Tennessee will probably pass them. I don't know about South Carolina and A&M. They are both right there. I mean, Florida has done well, no doubt. But I mean, Alabama has 9 commits. They're gonna pass Alabama. I mean, Alabama's gonna pass the Gators in terms of that. And it's not all one thing. College football, one really good recruiting class is great. You can still go Texas A&M on everybody, and you don't produce anything. You got to string them together. There's got to be multiple ones. And, you have to recruit, sign, develop, and then go win on Saturdays. And if you're not, doing all 3, to be honest with you, they're going to run you out of town. They're going to run you. The Florida folks have 0 issues running head football coaches out of town. Period. Just go look at the last 3 that have been there in a decade. We are on coach. Let's see. We are on coach number 4 since 2014 at Florida. That's a lot of turnover. That's a lot of turnover. Let me check my math here. That's a heavy amount of turnover at a place that should really be successful. It really should be, but it's not been. It's not been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, Will, Jim McElwain. Oh, okay. Dan Mullen, Billy Napier. Yeah, I was going to say. Randy Shannon does not get credit for the end of the Jim McElwain era, but whatever. And look, they have run out, and with good, not necessarily bad reason, but they have run out the SEC Coach of the Year from 2012. They ran out Jim McElwain after his, debacle in 2017. They ran Dan Mullen out of there. They should have kept Dan Mullen. Now, it wasn't working. I'm not going to get started on all this. They had some issues. And it may well have been that Dan did not want to correct these things. But, this isn't, the problem at Florida right now is exactly this quote. Florida talked a lot about nothing, and Georgia talked a lot about something. That's a problem. Now, if you don't want to see that, that's on you. That's your ass, not mine. I don't care. If recruits were saying that about Georgia, there's a problem. I say recruits, plural. One person has said this. So maybe that's unfair. But comparing the two, it's easy to see why people overreact or react or whatever. It's not been a good, offseason in Athens. That's clear, right? No one thinks this has been good, right? This has been as about a devastating an offseason as you can get. It's not been good at Georgia. It's been not that traumatic at Florida, so to speak, off the field. But how have things gotten better on the field at Florida, which is what I'm talking about? They haven't. Not that I can tell. There's a total disaster at quarterback. Are they still looking for another quarterback? Like, that's a problem. How can Tennessee have their S together better than Florida? Yeah, hired a capable coach. I mean, I guess they know what they're doing. I don't know. But I love when fans, because Georgia fans do this too. I mean, they just, whenever you say something bad about somebody, whether it's real or not, then here comes everybody getting their feelings hurt. And then, you just love the dogs. Is your, is your, what I'm saying incorrect? Are your feelings hurt? I mean, maybe it's worse than you think. Georgia's got its own problems, which which need to be taken very seriously. Now, I'm not one of these pom-pom wavers. Okay? You want to get that, you get that from somebody else. There are no shortage of those folks. Some of them are good people, but that's not what we do here. So if you want for me to tuck you in at night and tell you everything's okay, this might not be the place for you. There's problems at Georgia, and they need to be fixed. Period. And that starts with Kirby, Jerry Moorhead, everybody, and the kids too. It's not okay. Like, all that's not okay. So there's got to be accountability for that. But in the grand scheme of things, in terms of inside the program, the recruiting, you wonder why Florida's falling behind Georgia? I don't.